Donald Trump just posted this video.
There's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. If we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
So this is a message from our president, and it's an AI video. It depicts the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, it's hard to be disappointed in Trump, but obviously this video doesn't put him in the best light. But what is this video about? So today, Tuesday, September 30th, is the last day for the House and the Senate to pass a budget. And in order to do that, the Senate needs 60 votes. And the Republicans have 53 seats, so they need 7 Senate Democrats to vote along with them to fund the government. And Trump has constantly pushed off meeting with Democrats to make a negotiation to get those 7 votes. The Republican message is basically, we aren't negotiating with the Democrats. Either they shut down the government or they vote for exactly what we propose. Republicans like Stephen Miller, he is the deputy chief of staff for Donald Trump. Senate Democrats are about to block a clean, routine government funding bill because it doesn't give free health care to illegals. And this is just not true. Illegal immigrants don't get health care through the ACA. So this is from healthcare.gov. This is the government website for health insurance and health coverage for immigrants. People in these groups get coverage through the marketplace if they are eligible. U.S. citizens, U.S. nationals, and lawfully present immigrants. So this doesn't happen. This isn't how the health insurance system works in the United States, and it's the main talking point of the Republican Party. We aren't willing to negotiate on making the Affordable Care Act more affordable for Americans because it's getting free health care to illegal immigrants. That's just not happening, and the Republicans are running the ACA, right? They are the government, and this is the law. And if there are illegal immigrants on the ACA, that's literally their job to prevent that. It's a nonsense point. It is the way that the Republican Party is trying to pin the government shutdown that's going to happen, because this is how Donald Trump is representing the people he needs to negotiate with. It's going to happen, and they're going to, and it's not like I'm reading into a crystal ball, like this is exactly what's going to happen. They're going to continue to harp on this, the Republicans, I mean, of illegal immigrants getting health care for free, because if we listen to what the Democrats want to do, that's what's going to happen. You can't change the law through a spending bill. It is only about funding and give free health care to illegal immigrants. Why would they want that in the first place? They are trying to decrease premiums, which are going to go up, and I'll talk about that more in a second, in the coming year, and they're just not willing to negotiate. They need 7 votes. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the Supreme Court. And by they, I mean the Republicans. They have all the power. Filibuster is a rule in the Senate which requires 60 votes to be able to pass any legislation, essentially. And typically you think of legislation as being, you need 50% of the body or more to vote for something, right? Well, for the Senate, it's a little different. You need to have 60 votes. And this is a rule. This isn't a law, so it could be changed, but this is called the nuclear option in Washington, D.C., and it's not been used very much throughout the United States history. All of that to say that the Republicans can avoid a government shutdown. Absolutely. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. And the Republicans just are posturing as though they don't want the government to stay open. There have already been plans drawn up to fire lots of federal employees. And the Republicans, some of them have even left town. The Democrats are in D.C. and ready to make a deal. Republicans like Stephen Miller's a scumbag. He's going to come up with the worst possible thing to say, and he's going to say it over and over again to draw people's attention. But like I said, this is just factually incorrect. That is not what the Democrats are asking for. So what are they asking for? Democrats want to reverse $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid that Republicans enacted unilaterally this summer and eliminate the new work requirements for that program. Block the White House from clawing back funds previously approved by Congress, and restore funding for medical research. But they have focused their demands on the ACA subsidies. So like I said, the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid payments that you pay every month if you're on the ACA healthcare are going to increase. And they're going to increase because Republican policy. And this is what the Democrats have decided to push for in this continuing resolution, to continue to fund the federal government. How much are healthcare costs going to go up? So for people on ACA Marketplace healthcare plans, like myself, they are anticipating a 20% increase, the median proposed premium increase of 18%. So this is what they are already planning on doing. And without any action by Congress, it will increase an additional 4 percentage points higher. So for me, I pay $330 a month for my health insurance. And it's terrible, by the way. 4 plus 18 is 22. So my health insurance, assuming it's a typical increase, will go from $330 a month to $402 a month. So you can do this math for yourself if you're on the Affordable Care Act health insurance, but in all likelihood it's going to increase, and it's going to increase significantly in the coming months. And Democrats are actively working to not get rid of those increases, but at least decrease the burden that Americans are going to face come January. So tomorrow when the government shuts down, so it's going to happen at midnight tonight, the 30th of September, October 1st, we will be officially shut down. The federal government will be shut down. And what is that going to impact? The Republican administration has been largely against scientific research, and this is reflected in the budget. For the National Institute of Health, they are going to decrease the budget by $500 million almost. And this is significant money. This is hundreds of research programs that are helping fund scientific discoveries that are going to help people live longer, going to help people have a better quality of life. And this money is just going to go away in the next year. And Democrats are fighting to preserve that. Last time a continuing resolution was passed to continue funding the government, the Democrats caved and voted for the spending bill with no consolation from the Republican side. They got absolutely nothing in terms of the budget. They didn't really get to contribute at all. And it was exactly what the Republicans drew up, and they got to make the budget. The reason the filibuster exists is to get the two sides to agree on something. They have to negotiate to get those extra 7 senators. And last time the Democrats just caved. And I think that's a big reason why Senate Democrats and Democrats in general have such a low approval rating, is they're not really doing anything to impact the current administration. And I think that's why the government's going to shut down tonight. And how long it will be shut down? Well, it just sort of depends on how popular it is with the Republican Party. If they're able to continue to say this stuff about illegal immigrants getting free health care that's just not factually true and is a lie, could be beneficial to the Republican Party. If everybody continues to repeat this line and assumes that it's accurate, that the Democrats are shutting down the government to try to get free health care for every illegal immigrant, I mean, it's just ridiculous. If that were the case, wouldn't they want to get rid of funding for ICE or get rid of funding for Border Patrol or things like that, right? It's just a ridiculous idea. And this stupid video that Donald Trump released is just appalling. It's an AI generated video of the person that you need to negotiate with, and it's a joke. I mean, if Donald Trump's the deal maker, he needs to make a deal, work with the Democrats to make some bipartisan legislature to keep the government open. So what's going to happen when the government shuts down tomorrow? So a few things. Basically, all federal employees will no longer be paid. It is in the current laws that they will get back pay for the days that are missed. However, some people aren't going to be able to go into work due to the shutdown. It's hundreds of thousands of federal workers. Air traffic controllers are going to work without pay. 850,000 employees will be furloughed. All active duty and guard reservists on active duty orders are expected and therefore required to work without pay. All of our military will be working. The TSA, if you're a TSA officer, you will be going to work and not being paid. Customs and Border Protection. So these people that are helping guide us through our various transportations are going to either get fired or have to work without getting paid. National parks are going to close. Any sort of museum is going to close. FEMA will lose funding. So the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children will run out of funding, and they won't be able to deliver food. And all of these things, and there's more, right, aren't going to be done, or they're going to be done less efficiently, right? If you're somebody who works for the TSA, it's not like you're making a lot of money generally, and now you have to make a decision. Are you going to continue to work in hopes that the government reopens soon, or are you going to have to go find another job? And the waits at the airports are going to be longer, and trying to go through the border checks when you come back into the United States are going to take longer. Trials at the National Institute of Health won't be happening, right? These things have consequences, and this is Donald Trump's reaction to those consequences, right? Instead of negotiating, instead of making a deal, he wants to be the deal maker. He's just having a laugh. And, maybe you think it's funny, maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, this is on the Republicans, and they can talk about this stuff all they want about giving free healthcare to illegals, but it's just not true, and it's only to further decrease the Democrats' approval, and we'll see. Will the Republicans decide it makes sense to reopen the government, or is it more to their benefit to keep it closed for a while? We'll see. See you next time.